Hey everybody, Coach Wheeler, hurdles coach at Indiana Tech, and I've got another video I wanted to show you. We're doing start the first hurdle at Tech. It's a big part of what we do, specifically on workout days. We do a ton of start the first hurdle, especially beginning of the season. It's really important that getting you set up on that first hurdle is really important for the rest, the ebb and flow into the other hurdles. So we spend some time on it, and I've got a video of one of my hurdlers. His name is Javon, and Javon is, let's see here, we go. Javon is, he's a graduated senior, multiple national qualifier, was second in the nation in 2024 at the NAIA level indoors. He has worked a ton to get to the position that he's in. So he was a very raw hurdler when he first came in and has gotten better. So this is him here in the middle. It's a little hard to see him because he's contrasted with the background there. But hopefully we can get some video here and see what we're talking about. So I'm letting it run full speed this time. You see, and he gets really good push, really good acceleration, and some really solid crossing mechanics over the top of the hurdle. So the first couple things I want to talk about here and what I look at, and let me slow this down a little bit here. So the first thing is he's getting really good push into that front pedal. And this is for all sprinters. He's going to drive that elbow back, get his hips in position, and then cast back into the track, and he continues to drive forward. And that's really important. So I'm just going to go back here just a little bit. So as you can see, that top elbow or that top hand is back pretty far. I should be able to run a plumb line. I should be able to run a straight line from his ankle to his knee, to his hip, to his shoulder. And his head should be in a neutral position, which means it doesn't lift up or it doesn't drop down. So he pushes through here, get good cast back into track. He's still pushing. One big thing that I really harp on is not locating the hurdle too quickly. If you start to lift your chin and look up, you're taking your center of mass out of the middle of your body and you're putting it in front of you, and now you're chasing it. And I want to push that center of mass the whole time. So he's pushing here. He's probably into his third or fourth step, and now he just starts to locate the hurdle, and he's probably got 3 or 4 more steps left. He's got an 8-step approach. So he's driving up and driving through the hurdles. At this point, I want him to have his hips high. He should be just about at maximum velocity if he's not there quite yet. But I want him to drive that hip high, which he's got right there. And then he's going to have that chop step and drop that foot down right underneath the hips. And it's still a little bit forward on this, but it's pretty dang close to being under his hip. So then we've got wrap arm up, driving the knee at the stick, casting the tibular aspect, the heel at the hurdle. And then as he holds that press, notice that the wrap arm side is starting to sweep down over the top of the knee as he drives that knee forward. And then the opposite side, which I call the free side, is freezing at the thigh. That's a little advanced. He's been working really hard on that, and I'm kind of somebody who preaches this type of positioning. And again, it's a little controversial. Some coaches like people to let that arm swing back, so it's more of a natural swinging motion, and I don't agree with that. And my philosophy is to hold that at the thigh, and that keeps those shoulders parallel to the stick or to the hurdle. And that's really what I want. I don't want that arm going back because it forces the shoulders to rotate up top, and I don't want any movement, any rotation up on top of the shoulder. I want those shoulders to be equal and level with the stick so that when he's coming off of the hurdle and he punches back up, that his shoulders are still straight. And what I'm trying to avoid here is doing this down the track, and I want him to be linear, which is straightforward. So that's why I work really hard on making sure that that they're freezing the hand. Now, another big reason why we want to do that is because if we drop that that wrist down at the thigh, he gets a better punch up. And when he punches up like this, that's going to help or speed that trail leg through, so that when he's on touchdown, that he's rotating on a bigger angle. And this is a little bit controversial as well, but as he rotates through, he is punching, or he has touchdown off of the hurdle a little bit quicker, one, and secondly, for a longer period of time. And this principle is the same principle as you would have when you're pushing out of the blocks. I want that front foot to be in that pedal for as long as possible. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the longer that foot pushes in that pedal, the more we're overcoming inertia or gravity pulling us down to the earth. So you want to push those hips forward, and this is the same principle. He's got touchdown for a longer period of time, so he's overcoming inertia pulling him down, or gravity pulling him down to the ground. And then as that foot starts to rotate, now he's going to be right underneath the hip. And again, this isn't perfect. I'd like to see his hips high, and what I mean by that is there's a slight bend in the knee there, and I would like him to be high at this point. So it would be ankle, knee, hip, shoulder at this point. But as you can see, his shoulders are square. He doesn't have any over rotation. And I know a lot of the young hurdlers who come off the hurdles are coming off like this. And the reason why is they have that wrap arm up and they pull through, and then when they punch up to compensate, if that hand is too far back, you're over rotated up top. And when you punch back up, you're punching across your body, and now you're coming off of the hurdle like this, instead of freeze side, wrap arm, pull and punch, and you're coming straight up, and your hips and your shoulders are square. So that's the reason why I have him do that. Another big part of it is going to be him being patient on top of the hurdle, and that's a very difficult thing to coach a hurdler, is to be patient. Everybody that I talk to, and I want my kids to have this too, is to have a big snap down to the ground. And if you hold your press until the hips clear free of the stick and you dive off of the hurdle, you're going to get that snap down. So now when you dive off of the hurdle here, instead of snapping, when you're snapping, you're using your intercostal or your abdomen to get that knee down. But when you dive off of the top of the hurdle, again, you're having gravity help you get that foot down to the ground a little bit quicker. So that's the positioning that I like to have my hurdlers. And then obviously, since we've cleared that, we want those hips high. You are a sprinter again, because hurdlers are sprinters really that just hurdle. I don't want hurdlers to be sprinters in between. I want them to be sprinters the whole time that actually cross hurdles. So he gets that chop step down again, which is just about right underneath the hips. That's a great positioning. He's getting that wrap arm up for the second hurdle and freezing at the hip again. And he's almost got that hand, really aggressive press, got that hand at the thigh again. And that allows him, when on touchdown, and you can see, even though his wrap arm is far back, he hasn't over-rotated on his shoulders again, because he has frozen that hand at the hip, and he punches back up, and he has now become a sprinter again. And then the same thing, chop step, drive the knee, cast, wrap arm up, freeze side, pulling down, sweeping over the top of the knee, keeping that back angle open just a little bit. Now he's diving off of the hurdle. At this point right now, he's diving off. Touchdown. Now he's forcing his hips high, and he's forcing his chest high to become a sprinter again. But as you look at this, he is a sprinter that hurdles. So that's kind of what we look at. Those are 3 hurdle crossings right there. He's coming out of the, but that's really what I look for is those big pushes in the beginning, becoming a sprinter, and then getting those hips high, good chop step, good press, knee drive. His hip height is really good on top of the hurdle. And one big thing with my guy hurdles, with all my hurdles, is I discount. So they normally cross on 42, and I just have them down to the next level. And the reason why I do that is because your drive, your excitement to compete, your level of competition is not there when you're in practice, and this compensates for that level of just angst to compete. Because he's not competing with anybody here. We're really focusing on our crossing mechanics and on that drive phase. And I don't want him to make mistakes. And when you're at 42, you're a lot more likely to make mistakes because you're just not at the level that you would be in competition mode. So I just drop that hurdle down. It eliminates any mistakes. And the reason why I do that is practice makes permanent. It doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So it's another really big reason why we drop that hurdle down. So he is practicing his crossing mechanics in the right way. So that's what I've got here. Hope that helps anybody out. If you have any questions, you can just reach out to me at the email address below, and I'll be happy to help you out. Thanks.